Take a look at what you're holding right now. If it's an iPhone 17 Pro Max, you're looking at a 6.9-inch titanium supercomputer with a chip that processes trillions of operations a second. If it's a Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra, you're holding an armored aluminum beast with a 200-megapixel sensor, hardware-level privacy screens, and an S Pen that's been refined over a decade. They are the absolute pinnacle of human engineering. But exactly 18 years ago, none of this existed. To get here, Apple and Samsung had to engage in a multi-billion-dollar game of corporate betrayal, public lawsuits, and a secret pact that almost destroyed both companies. This isn't just a tech story. This is how two rivals accidentally built the modern world together. And the most shocking part? The war they've been fighting for 18 years is about to end. And a completely new one is just beginning. June 2007. The world didn't have apps. No Instagram, no TikTok, no 5G. People were clicking plastic keyboards on Blackberries and flipping open Motorola Razrs. Then Apple drops the original iPhone. By today's standards, it was a joke. A tiny 3.5-inch screen. No selfie camera. Couldn't even record video. But it had one thing that felt like actual witchcraft. Multi-touch. You could pinch to zoom. The software glided under your finger. It made every other phone on Earth look like a typewriter. Inside Samsung, panic set in. They weren't a smartphone king. They made generic flip phones and plastic sliders. When the iPhone landed, Samsung executives realized their entire mobile division was facing an existential crisis. A secret 132-page internal report circulated among engineers. Its conclusion? The iPhone was a masterpiece. Samsung's lineup felt dead. They came up with a radical strategy to save themselves. But to pull it off, they had to cross a line that triggered the most toxic corporate war in history. Samsung launches its counterattack, the original Galaxy S. But when Apple's executives looked at it, they didn't just see a new phone, they saw an exact mirror of their own work. The icon grid, the rounded app corners, the shape of the charging brick, even the bounce-back animation when you hit the bottom of a menu. Steve Jobs was so furious, he vowed to spend every penny of Apple's $40 billion cash reserve to wage thermonuclear war on Android. Apple hit Samsung with a $2.5 billion lawsuit. It became a spectacular circus. Apple claimed ownership over rounded rectangles, over bounce-back scrolling. A jury eventually ordered Samsung to pay over $1 billion. But here's the mind-blowing hypocrisy both companies tried to hide. While Apple's lawyers were screaming at Samsung in a California courtroom, Apple's supply chain team was secretly flying to South Korea to sign massive manufacturing contract. Because guess who built the Retina displays and processors inside Apple's iPhones? Samsung. Apple literally could not build their revolutionary phone without buying parts from their worst enemy. And Samsung, supplying from the inside, was learning Apple's technical limitations in real time. By 2012, Apple believed they knew exactly what consumers wanted: a phone you could use with one thumb. So when Samsung launched the Galaxy Note with a massive 5.3-inch display and a stylus, the tech world laughed. Critics called it a phablet. A laughable brick. Steve Jobs had literally said no one is going to buy a big phone. But then something incredible happened. The public stopped buying small phones. They wanted to watch video, play games, and read on big screens. Samsung's gamble paid off massively. They became the #1 smartphone manufacturer on Earth. Apple was trapped. In 2014, they finally gave in. The iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Big screens, record-breaking sales. A complete copy of Samsung's philosophy. But Apple rushed the design. The aluminum frame was too weak. Phones started bending in people's pockets. Bendgate. Apple's image as a flawless design house was cracked. But if you think a bending phone is bad, what happened to Samsung just 2 years later remains the single most catastrophic humiliation in corporate history. Samsung releases the Galaxy Note 7, praised as the best smartphone ever built. Then the world caught fire. Phones spontaneously exploding in people's hands. Hotel rooms ablaze. Cars torched. Samsung issued a recall. The replacement phone started exploding too. The FAA made it a federal crime to bring a Galaxy Note 7 onto a commercial airplane. It cost Samsung over $5 billion and shattered their brand reputation overnight. Apple saw the opening and delivered a knockout blow. In 2017, they skipped the iPhone 9 and launched the iPhone 10. $1,000. No home button. Face ID. Sleek, premium, futuristic. Samsung's market share collapsed while Apple captured nearly 85% of global smartphone profits. Apple felt they had officially won the war. But then they got lazy. Samsung didn't just change screen dimensions. They bent solid glass. The Galaxy Fold. While Apple spent years figuring out how to turn their notch into a dynamic island, Samsung was giving users screens that folded in half, a stylus in the frame, and a 100 times space zoom that could photograph the moon. Samsung became the undisputed king of raw hardware innovation. Yet this created the most frustrating paradox in tech. No matter how many futuristic features Samsung invented, Apple's profits kept breaking records. Because Apple understood a profound psychological truth, humans care more about social status and convenience than specs. Apple had built a digital cage, and Samsung realized that no hardware innovation alone could break it. They needed a completely new battlefield. By 2023, the physical hardware war hit a dead end. Every phone was a premium glass slab. Cameras were all spectacular, so the battle went invisible. Into artificial intelligence. Samsung made the first massive move with Galaxy AI. Your phone wasn't just a portal to apps anymore. It was becoming a thinking assistant. Apple was caught off guard, scrambling to build Apple Intelligence. The war shifted, not about cameras, but about whose AI was smarter, faster, and more private. Which brings us to right now, 2026. The iPhone 17 Pro Max and the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra. If you put them side by side, the honest truth is, they're more similar than ever. These aren't revolutions anymore. They're refinements. So where is all the real money going? Here's what neither company is talking about. Apple is dropping their first foldable iPhone, the iPhone Fold. And Apple is about to walk into Samsung's territory and try to dominate it overnight. And Samsung saw this coming. That's why they're pushing harder than ever with foldables and smart glasses. This is the next war, and the stakes are 10 times higher. When you look back at 18 years of this war, it's easy to think they were enemies. But the truth is, Apple and Samsung didn't destroy each other. They built each other. Every move forced the other to evolve. Every mistake made both stronger. The 18-year smartphone war is basically over. The phones have peaked. What's coming next? Foldables, smart glasses, AI that lives in your eyes? That's a completely new fight. And for the first time in 2 decades, neither side has won it yet.